Applications for Maine's paid family medical leave program will open today. The program will offer up to 12 weeks of pay for Mainers who qualify and will cover medical, parental, military, family, and safe leave. The state began collecting a 1% tax, which was taken from both worker paychecks and employers to help build up funding. The program faced an uphill battle after 14 bills were proposed against it, with some lawmakers arguing the program should be voluntary for employers, as it is in New Hampshire. Others worried about the cost and proposed repealing it altogether. Maine now joins 13 other states and Washington, D.C., which have similar programs.